Hello. You. I don't know. Old Viking, thank you. Just getting started here. How was your stream? I was thinking about clicking on it too and watching some. You doing some SpaceX, as I recall. Yes, you are. Thank you. I forgot my bots. Gotta build this refueling station by hand like a plebe. Great Claw, welcome. Trying to build a refueling station right now. Jay has got some massive ammo farm up here. We've made it a little bit into Russia. Haven't quite explored South America, but we've capped this area. Oh, we got to get rails up to Oak. I'm trying to get an artillery assembly plant going. I've got it ghosted out. I've got to get the supplies going for it. Oh, that station name's wrong. I also had a suggestion that I use this for the fuel stations, so I'm going to check that out. So, what this should do is only load fuel. Why does it have two of these though? Oh, because the second one is my turn on the thing. Yeah, I don't like that I've done that, so that one's probably going to get deleted. But this is just doing the opposite of my unloader. My unloaders are set to only unload when only unloads the lowest chest or the highest chest. So Ravager was saying this is the opposite of that. Each 24 tied to this inserter, which is everything greater than V. And that would simplify this loading process a lot. For some reason, I don't have any resources on me. I turned everything off. And it bothers me. I normally put one on either side. Because of the weird way I don't do things. Here, are you getting a train? Why aren't you getting a train? Oh, because you got a train. I swear, I've got enough trains that should not have been sitting. I think these are too long. I've made these too long and they need to be much shorter. I didn't leave enough room for stackers. I need to put another stacker here. Why are you no longer part of a group? I swear these things just lose their group assignments. They just like, Duh, I'm not a thing anymore. Trains without groups. An iron train without a group. Why? No idea. Why doesn't enter work here? These all have had groups last session, by the way. Every single one of them. The only ones that shouldn't have train groups are service trains. So, slight distraction, but throughput of this is too much, or not enough. I've got trains sitting here waiting to get in and out. But after I finish this, I gotta go down and fix that. So, back to this. Where do you get your input from? Why did you lose your wires when I moved you? I don't think this is complete. I usually go red wires across the chest, red wires across the inserters, and green wires from inserter to chest. And then this has red wires across and across. I think if I just take this and flip it, that might give me a better indication of what I'm trying to do. But for some reason, because I moved that when it was a ghost, the wires broke. That seems to be a bug. Why is that set to everything less than 4? I don't see why the value 4 is a value here. If I was just going to take this and reverse it, then I'd say V. -24, right? I don't feel like figuring that out right now. Kind of rude. Who's being the fuckhead here? All right. You to go away because I think you're ugly. That was not the right interrupt for this train to have. This train should never go to a stacker. I think I'm done here. I'll figure that out later. Now I have to build the 242 builder station, which these are named for that. And I need to duplicate this because trains are stupid. So let's turn this off by turning it on. Now, I don't have a train unloader for these, so I don't know if it's a good idea to start all this up. But it will let me figure out whether or not the very basics of these smelting arrays work before I move forward. And that's a good thing, because I haven't used them before. You're going to Saskatoon, huh? Why? Did I miss a wire? Because you need a satellite. No, you don't. Something wrong here. You should not be requesting a satellite. Why are you requesting a satellite? The green wire is not connected back here. Nope, it's not the green wire. Ah, I fucked that up too. Well, this one is rotated, so maybe it's the only one that's broken. I don't see any way for you to know that you've got maybe this red wire was broken. Yeah, this red wire is supposed to do that. The green wire tells it whether or not to turn on and off. Okay, so that was just because I turned that one upside down. I broke it. Let's try and do better in the future. This one doesn't have a green wire, so it's done wrong. First, go try and fix Hurst. Oops, yellow knife. Make sure this is right. It needs fuel and a satellite. It has no satellite. It has no fuel. There's Michelle for the first time. Hello.
Hello. I'm gonna remain on push to talk. Roommate's home and he's just chowing down.
That's all right. I'm so fucking exhausted from work. It took me this long to come up with a response. You have rocket fuel. You're coming here. Go away. Son of a bitch. Couldn't have sent you away, huh? I didn't want 50 of these. I just wanted 4. Let's watch a rocket launch. All right, so we have launched from El Paso, Minneapolis, Saskatoon, and Yellowknife. Each one of them gets us a couple thousand space science so we can continue our research. Now it's more like all the others. If it's missing a thing that shouldn't be there. Doesn't rotate well. On the other ones, I just looped it around, but it's in the middle of an intersection. What I should have done was looped it down here and stuck it in there, but you want fuel too. So obviously my fuel loading, unloading scheme isn't good enough because I've got a little extra LDS and a little extra that. But on the train that brings it, it's got a ghosting, it's got a filtering setup that doesn't bring enough fuel. So if each train had one less low density structure, something I didn't do the math, so. But if each train had one less low density structure, that would be 50 less here and 50 less here. So 2 less low density structures puts these at 22. And this is disabled, so I can't click on it to see how much rocket fuel I need or what percent it's at. Let's grab a hold of this and temporarily move it out of its docking bay. And then change these to say so that's going to give me 40 more fuel. That needs to go away. That needs to go away. That was the wrong button to press. That did not copy and paste, or did it, and it just, god damn it. Michelle, things you're nearby.
Yeah.
Is there any chance you can come up here to this train and take the low density structure out of the last 2 rows of each wagon? Because I need to change the assignment, and it won't let me do it if there's contents in there. Hi, Pony. Not all of it, just the last 2 columns. You can put it all back now on that one. Oh, it did actually put that in as a ghost. Seems to sort of worked. All right, thank you. Now, where are you going? Are you going here? Go somewhere else. Ah, too late. Fuck me, I was right there anyways.
Are we worried about new biters showing up on the current continent?
No.
So if I just walk around and do a turret cleanup, we're fine?
I think I've done that. But yeah,
There's a few
that's fine.
spots. Okay. Just trying to get ahead of, not ahead, but reacquainted with everything. Though I've been watching, they're still like, what did you guys do?
So if you want to have some fun in that realm of you don't really want to have to think, if you want to slightly think, you could take the 1-2-1 station and build it at the landfill. If you want to do something with a train builder, take the blue train and build the rail out to Oak. Um, or do whatever the hell you want. I mean, if you want something to do, I got a couple of relatively good tasks that need to be done. All of this rail stuff needs to be torn out. All of this landfill needs, well, there's a bunch of landfill over there. It needs to go into Canada because we're landfilling the shit out of that.
All right, let me get rid of some of this stuff, be able to recycle it back in, and then where I walk to, I will then grab stuff. I don't have a vehicle with me at the moment, but 5 legs should be fast for my
Well, don't
purposes.
forget you have teleporter. I understand, Pony. Good luck on that tomorrow. I want you to stay
You too.
warm.
Safe, pony.
It's just gonna buffer up a bunch of ammo for you, anyways. But yeah, you get the teleporter, so that saves you a lot of walking. Oh, you can blueprint the old spiders, but you can't blueprint the new ones? Oh, that sucks. Maybe post a note in the mods. Yeah, maybe post a. I was looking for Spidertron. I don't know which one I have here. I had to do a little bit of work. Spidertron weapon variants. There is a Spidertron weapon loadout that has similar. It seems to I probably should have switched to that one. Simple mod allows the user to customize the weapon slots used by Spidertron. Submachine gun, shotgun, flamethrower, tank cannon, rocket launcher. Um, I'm reading. Well, I'm willing to try that one out. I'll bookmark it. It's a different one. Because that's kind of a deal breaker, then we're not going to use it. So we'll try it out. If you want to try what I'm thinking of, well, it is for me. If you want to try what I'm thinking of, because I'm sure you have a um, and then if you want to go into this one, the second one is what we use. If you want to go to that one and write him a comment, I'm sure the mod author will like that. Will like that. I didn't want to go there. Hi, kitty cat. Hi, kitty cat. Hey, then. Hello. Hey, we're reusing your We're redoing Deathworld because we failed the first one because I messed up the map. I don't want rails to go here. I want to do this. I think. Really? That's how that works out, you lousy piece of shit? Fucking garbage. Fine. It's better than this fucking thing. Yeah, it's just going to be a really big open signal. Pretty certain Ravager is having an aneurysm right now with me hacking this shit together. Yeah, I keep spawning Deathworlds. Next one won't be a Deathworld, though. Next one will be Territory Claim. What do I want to do with this? This is going to be a 1-2-1 loader. Got 4 outputs. You put power poles off my grid. I don't appreciate that. Body, question. Is there any good advice for a beginner to understand train signals? The tutorial is pretty good. We had um, we had an amazing tutorial last night, and the night before from Ravager SC. You're welcome to kill him, Michelle. The basic thing about trains is the is not to overuse single rail. Like I used single rail here, and it creates congestion. Decide that you're going to use double rail. Decide that you're going to use the signals on the probably on the outside is the better bet. And just commit to always using, yeah, chain in, rail out. Chain signals are the single dots. Rail signals are the triple dots. If you don't do the rail above ground stuff, simple things, I don't recommend you use my rails. But also if you there's no shame in using blueprints of rail intersections. Matter of fact, most of mine have come from other blueprints, so I didn't make these things. Other people made them, and I just use them because it's nearly impossible to. the amount of time it would take for you to figure this out and get good at it and do it yourself is not worth the investment. You just use it and then you forget about it. Which one, Pony? I got a million of them. Try the chicken. I'm here all week, but I was hoping to not fill that whole thing in. Oh, yeah, that's wrong. I can't just do that. I need those assemblers. I was just about to put stone directly on there. That would have been bad. Normally, I wouldn't save this stuff, but this stuff is actually kind of valuable. All right, how do I want to manage this? Because I already brought the rail in, so now I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. So you're going to go off to a machine, and you're going to go off to a machine. Each one of these had 2 machines. Now, are you just doing clearing space? Just
I'm just putting down the landfill. I'm not putting
oh,
anything else
okay.
in for the
Yeah,
moment.
I was gonna say just poison gas the trees. But, if you want to bring a train up, there are trains that will help you with that. And if you just focus on getting this one piece of rail going, you'll be able to get trains to come up and bring you landfill to help. And I'm about to finish a train that's going to have all landfill.
Oh, from when I walked past you, I filled my inventory. I've
Yeah,
got
I saw you
6,000.
stealing it all, you thieving little. Wound me mortally with that, Bob. He won't know I said that. He's on the road for the next 2 hours at least. So, I don't think this is a good design for what I'm trying to do. Not enough throughput. I would love to use that. I'd love to use that design that Ravager put down yesterday, but I don't understand the math. Oh, model landfill. Surprise. I gotta make some. Come on, that was fucking hilarious. So here's an example. That came from Ravager. You mean this one? Sorry, Pony. I got distracted. If that's the one you like, it's in the game blueprints. You'll be able to get it next time. Well, let's turn this puppy on. I don't need more faster belts because this thing's on the other side of the planet. There'll be plenty of time for it to reload. But I see what you're saying. Can't really support that level of productivity. Well, you're 100% right, and I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't generally do blue belt unless I'm doing a mega base. And again, this is pretty much just going to sit here and do its thing all by itself. I'll make people's heads explode by doing that. Now I need to build a landfill train. Start by turning this on so that it can't get out. I will do this one so it's minimal breakage.
I have to step away for a minute, and if you have a moment, can you find my chest? I dropped all my gear so I wouldn't contaminate the building scene, but I can't seem to locate my chest, and I was closer to the new artillery build.
What color was your chest? Landfill is not pictured here. Really already 8 o'clock. $182 and 49. Stupid thing. Oh, it's got a stacker for a thing, that's why. Alright, so now I've got a generic one. Good. So we're going to take the stone. $105. Oh, what a fucking terrible user interface. 105. 1, 0, 5. 82. 49. You can't type 3 digits really quickly. Fucking horrible. Landfill is more dark than that. Shit, I screwed that up. Those are all set to. I gotta load that generic one up again. And it's probably my West dude. It is West dude. Hello, West dude. Couldn't greet you properly yesterday. I had a guest and I was learning.
As long as we continue to discuss the Abomination Drive, Wes is happy.
It gets on my last nerve. I threatened to give him timeouts and bans because you wouldn't let it go. I don't mind a little poking and joking and stuff like that, but why can't I just clear all these by dragging? Another incomplete feature. So close to greatness. Why are we going out with that? And what in the hell did I do here? This is all got to get torn out and redone because I screwed up the placement. Oh, that's your box? I don't know if that rail needs to go to the east, Michelle. I don't see any reason for it to go there. The oil can be pumped. The oil can be just, I imagine we could build an oil station there. That's probably a good idea. I'll just shut up now.
That's whatever was down. I was just walking.
Oh, was it
back trying to
ghosted?
grab
I
this thing.
don't remember doing it. Thanks. So we're gonna do a stacker here. Nope, it's gonna be down here.
So, did you want to put that thing back in so that the train can leave?
Yeah, there shouldn't be a train there in the first place right now, but I don't see a train in that space. Yeah.
It must have come out as we were talking.
Still, it's short on fuel, and it has tons of this other stuff. Why are you so much on the other but not fuel? I don't understand. You missed a couple of signals up here.
I
Unless you
don't
just,
have any.
oh, you just don't have them. Okay, well. Yeah, so the landfill train should be online. I didn't put a radar down there because, that would have been smart. All right, so I'm going to be putting this. Fucking A, I don't have landfill. After all that. Hello, Plutonium. Welcome. I hope you're having a good day. Got 4 of them, looks like. That hurts. That stupidity really fucking hurts.
Do you happen to have that blueprint where I'm standing handy?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to break that intersection again, so let me change this to say ghosts.
All right.
So I can, well, it doesn't have all the signals, so that's going to get broken, but yeah, give me a moment. That is in base, no, that is in factories, artillery ammo for V2. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do, give me a moment. Oh, this is going to fuck me. This is going to put all this back in, and I don't want all of this back in.
You might have a bottom curve.
Yeah, I'm taking it out of the blueprint right now, so. All right, let me try this. Back in a minute. Let's push this button.
Just giving you a heads up, there was experiencing a lot of latency for over 200 ticks for a while.
Yeah, sometimes we get lag spikes. Cool. Thanks. Yeah, it happens. It's kind of frustrating. So now, what I thought was going to be relatively easy is much more challenging. I wanted to move some of these stackers, but I cannot easily. Not all lined up. They're not. They're not the same rotation. If I want to put them here, that doesn't work. I was hoping I'd be able to put them there, but I can't flip that and have it come down. Why would you be complaining? So that means I would have to turn and put them there. I guess that's fine.
Do we have enough infrastructure placed down now that you can maybe start pulling those trains in?
Yeah, this stuff down here is just a placeholder. Um, so pulling any of those trains in is totally fine. I will send up. We don't need the rail train anymore because you've done 90% of that. Don't really need the smelter train. Well, we'll send up this one. And we'll send up this one to the other side. So there's two trains on the way. They're going to show up roughly there.
Nothing with a red chest?
Oh, you probably need to put some signals down for that to be able to get through. I have another train. If you make a small branch fork off of that, I can send up another train. Hi, kitty cat. Meow meow. Does this have red chests in it? No, no, that doesn't have red chests in it. This does not have red chests in it. Apparently the answer is no. Sorry. I don't know why, but I mean they're not perfectly designed. There's so many variables and permutations of shit,
No, I was
and I
just saying if
haven't.
there was at least one up here, because I don't have any materials to craft with, it would be
Yeah.
easy to then just drop one and then just feed.
Well, use yellow because you're gonna need something for all the rocks and trees, anyways. You should have yellow chests, don't you?
Not on me.
Okay. Well, this train has yellow, so I've sent the third train up. Um. Yeah, I usually use yellow to feed all that. Also, I'm going to send the landfill train over, but
I don't
uh,
think you need it. I left almost 1,000 up near the porter, the transporter.
oh, okay. Yeah, I usually landfill all the. Okay, cool. So all of this um, fluid handling to the outside doesn't need to be here. That was just a remnant of another blueprint that didn't get cleaned up. Yeah, now that I look at it, I like the idea of putting this onto a train. That's gonna work well. Stupid fucking interface. Well, we already have one oil, but we'll see how it goes. Terrible, 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 terrible. Fucking horrible. I'd like
I've
to have a
stripped
conversation with the person who said that was good enough for quality.
I have stripped enough of the trains at this point. So do you want me to just put them back on automatic?
They don't have an automatic.
Do you want me to just send them to whatever is top of list?
Yes, there shouldn't be a second. If there's a second item on the list, delete it. They should only have one destination, and that's their loading station. Sorry. I might have garbage in there. Clearly not ready for prime time, but best I can do right now.
They are back on their way.
I don't think I'm using them for anything right now, so call them when you need them. They're stationed in this general area north of that ping. So this is the goal. Hear me? Not even worth a groan, bro. Get rid of that. 32. We got 32 motherfucking trains. We got way too many 121s. We don't need this many 121s. Let's cap this at 16. What's the design he's using here? I like that. Oh man, I hit the wrong key or something. That hurt.
Ha ha.
I mean, I crossed in front of the train, and then suddenly I bounced back in front of the train. That lag stuff Bob's always talking about. Hey, Ravager. You were saying that these signals that are on this stacker shouldn't have signals? Uh, well, one of the things I did, yeah, that's true. But why do I even care? I guess I don't want it to go. Well, see, I don't want it to come here. Why do I even have signals on the in? Because it's not going to come in if it doesn't have a path to get here. If it comes here and stops, what do I care? Because it's stopping because it can't get to that. Do I even have these signals on the inside like this? Which you can't really see because of the overhead, but why even put this set of signals or that set of signals? Because it's just not going to. Well, I need that one to stop them from going into that, but do I need these along here? Oh, okay, so that I can have more than one train. Well, I definitely don't like it being here, but I can't put it there. The only reason I want to do that is so that I can see it. I don't need one there at all because hiding behind this is a signal. So I'd rather put that there. Hmm. I still need something to say don't go in there if there's a train in there because then it blocks it, so. Okay. Now, one of the things I did on another one was that I put a set of, well, not here, was that I put a set of rails here so that they would start using that output faster, and I really like that result. I did have a question for you, seeing as you're here. I tried building your thing here, your version of Mad Zuri's limited loader that you suggested, And the question I have is, why 4? Because on the unloader, I use less than, because you go equal equal. I use V for average. But why the constant 4? Otherwise, I was just going to change this thing to be just negative and flip its direction and be done with it. Because that's what I do. Like here, is it's just 24 V, and then this is, if it's greater than V, I'd switch it to less than. All right, but I'm pretty tired, so if you try and explain it in detail, I'm probably going to get lost. Hello.
Yo. Okay, so what are you doing with the other ones that you have?
The version of the Madsuri that I use sums up all of the chests
Mm-hmm.
on red, feeds them to the combinator,
Yeah.
and divides by the number of chests,
Chests. Yeah.
which actually I just realized this is,
Then what's your circuit condition
yeah,
on the inserter?
greater than the average, but I just realized that I also probably have a flaw because then that's not supposed to be 24, it's supposed to be 12, I think.
Yeah, if you're doing side by side, that should be 12.
Yeah, I think I had a copy paste error there, but problem is that once I started doing this balancer, see, I've seriously fucked all this up and I never fixed it.
Yeah. So if you look at the third chest from or fourth chest from the bottom on the right or on the left, excuse me, is that one got like double the amount of stuff in it?
No, it's barely 740, 730,
Mm.
700s. They're all pretty close to each other, so it's working as expected. So on some of these, and see, it should be 12. On some, let me finish my thought. On some of these, I connected the red wires across when I added the balancer, and I'm only doing a single combinator here. So I've got a hodgepodge that I never fixed and I haven't had a chance to fix. So on this one, I should only have one of these things, and wiring everything together because all the reds are combined and I shouldn't have done that. So I need to revisit this.
What stack size are these intended for?
50, these are for copper ore.
No, on the sorry, the hand capacity.
Oh, I don't take that into consideration, so, but they're just blue inserters.
Well, I mean, are you planning on hand capacity 2 or 3?
I don't take that into consideration.
Okay. Because if it's for 3, it's significantly overbuilt to just pull red belts out of a station. Like, how many belts out are you trying to get out of this?
Three, three
Okay.
full belts. Most of these, they're wired for 4, or they're set up for 4, but I know that the way that, well, not out of the whole station. My experience is that 3 blue inserters will fill a red belt, and so that's my goal. As odd as this thing looks, is that these 3 are supposed to fill that. I'm sorry, these 3 are supposed to fill that, and
You mean,
so yeah, I've gone through so many permutations that I should probably just start over with a fresh slate because I hacked it together and changed it and then rehacked it and changed it again. And so this is not. And I would say that most of the time I get the stack size 3 inserter capacity bonus to a total of 3. by the time this matters. But it's also base 2, which means that it's being built at the time that research is like, we don't even have red belt, and I might not have even researched capacity bonus. So when this is first built, these things might not have a hand size bonus. And then as this base is getting used, research is increasing the hand capacity. So it's a dynamic thing of how many or how big the hand capacity is.
Well, I mean, it's a question of like what's the minimum because, like minimum expected hand capacity. Because if you're um trying to get a red belt out, um, you're just barely shy of doing that with 6 blue inserters running at full throughput.
With a stack size, with a hand capacity of what, 2 or 1?
Yeah, with 2.
Okay.
With 3, it's much more forgiving.
So let me say that again. So, because like I said, I'm stupidly fucking tired. So I'm going to rephrase it so that I can imprint it. Is that 3 blue inserters with hand capacity 2 can fill a red belt,
Aside,
a side of a red belt. Okay,
they're
so
just barely unable to do it.
that matches my experience and my goal. Is because I to a 1-2-1 train, if I do the unloader correctly, gets me 3 red belt, and that might be wrong, but I think what you're saying is that 6 inserters gets me full belt, and this thing has
It's just barely not quite a full belt.
24. So I'm happy with how it's working, and I've been doing this for a while, like we talked about earlier. I've got a belt and suspenders thing going on here where I've got both the limitations on chest unloading through this combinator, and I've got a balancer, which, like I said, belt and suspenders, I should have one or the other, and I would choose this combinator. um, now I remember why I put this balancer
Say,
here. I don't
you don't.
evenly draw, so yeah, I do need both of them. And then to
Well,
make
you
matters
don't.
worse, and I don't want to belabor this any much further. Sometimes, and I'm not sure how to deal with this, but sometimes I would have 2 of these combinators to call in trains at like 16K and 30K or something like that. So if these things got really low, it would call 2 trains. But I'm going to be throwing that away because I so that's why sometimes these are, well, you'll see these are all 24, but some of them were 12 and some were 24 because they were not consistently built. I don't have any. Yeah, like the coal is single sided, and it's 12. So the coal is designed is a single sided unloader works the way I want. When I put it onto a double sided unloader, I fucked it up. So I will have to revisit all that based on all the knowledge
Well,
you shared.
so the you don't need a balancer for um like all of the belts. All you need to do is ensure that the front, like if your objective is to completely empty the train, all you need to do is ensure that the front and back of the train empty at the same rate. So hold on, let me just throw something together here real fast, like, because just as a sample concept, I'll just do click tax. So like something like this gives you a full yellow belt, and you're ensuring balance between the front and back wagons.
Yeah, but there's no buffer chest.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like you can just add that by moving it over, like if you want.
Okay,
Like,
so it is compatible with a buffer chest.
yeah, I mean,
Because I've
but like,
seen designs that don't use buffer chests too, and that's why I asked it. Well, no, that's not entirely accurate because what happens over a long period of time with like if I have two more chests on each one, then I'm gonna have to have a balancer
no,
outbound.
no. You only need to do individual pairs going from like individual belts. Like if I do this, but let's just duplicate this. Okay, so we're gonna duck this around, and there's gonna be more compact tiling patterns for this. I'm just gonna do this for uh, simplicity, ease.
Okay, so what you're saying is set this up so that a pair of unloaders feeds to a balancer, but don't mix those pairs with the other pair.
Yeah, because
Okay.
so it's a much simpler way of subdividing your problem. Because here's the thing: if let's say that this middle belt here stops moving, who cares? Why does that matter?
Well, if the train stops unloading, but no, you're right, it shouldn't matter
You're
if
still drawing evenly from both
the
wagons.
others are going to draw from it. No, so you've solved that solves a big problem of mine um and that's really really appealing to me. So let
Like
me
the
create
goal with
what you've
this
got
is
here.
to greatly simplify the complexity of what you're dealing with. Because rather than doing like a
Yeah,
four
I'm
to
very
four,
happy
like an
with
eight
what
eight or
you're.
something,
I'm
like
very happy with what you put down here. I would need to find a way to integrate it into my builds in terms of spacing.
yeah, I
But
mean, like there's more compact ways of doing that. This is just like intended to be a
yeah,
simplified
and in some cases
example.
this is hand built, so I have limitations on what I'm doing there. But
But the other thing also is, why are you trying to get two red belts out of a wagon? Like two red belts out of, one red belt out of each wagon. Okay, cool. Two red belts, that's kind of a lot. Like, what's wrong with just spamming down more train stops? If you actually do need that kind of throughput.
outside of a wagon. Well, train stops are kind of expensive. Trains are kind of expensive. If it's that
And
wide, then this base becomes much longer,
mhm.
which is undesirable.
Well, you can make this significantly more compact if desired. Um,
Let me try and capture that, by the way, because I don't have it right now. Because I will not keep that in my head if I don't actually draw it here because
and your trains, you're not doing like omni-purpose trains, like they're
nope.
assigned to a specific material, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then the even easier solution is to not even worry about this, and you introduce the like the empty wagon detection, which is a
It,
really, really, really simple concept.
yeah, I thought about that. And the empty wagon um
Because like this can still break. Like let's say that you didn't place this box, and
Yeah,
then it
I'm
gets
not.
placed late. Now it's uneven and it's going to stay uneven. Like in this case, it's going to fill up because these are infinite wagons, but like in a real world, they would actually fill up. By the way, you have to flip that vertically. Uh, you cannot mirror that the other way. The the trick with the undergrounds is to force
Yeah.
silent. So
So I've got. Is this one wrong, or is the other side going to be wrong?
uh,
I always forget which side does
the
an
left
insert unload
side you
onto.
need to flip vertically from what you have on stream.
So this has got to be flipped vertically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I always forget which side the inserter unloads onto an underbelt. Okay,
Well,
so
on any belt that it's pointing towards or away from the inserter, it unloads onto the right lane.
yeah, I've heard that, and it's going to sound a little odd, but I'm one of those people that actually has to hold his hand up to see left and right.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I get fucked up by that stuff. So just to capture your complete thought, so that I have all of this, and I understand the concept of what you're saying, and I like it. I will try and
Well,
find a.
so quick thing: if you're just trying to get red belts out of this, there's a simple way to clean this up to make it a little less crazy. So
Yeah, that's what I would call an iteration. I haven't gone through those yet, but I will. But yeah, if you already have an iteration, then I will consider that. But this is hugely illustrative for me to learn from. And none of these chests are wired together, huh?
uh, you don't need it, no, because you're solving stuff.
Now I do want to
Uh,
wire them together because I want to control the train controls. So I do want that. So I will have that. I only want to call a train when it can fully unload. I want to keep that.
mhm.
I don't want trains sitting here. But it has to be two-sided with. See, that's going to cause a. Let me think through that. If one side of this drains all the way out, I only care about the total amount of all of these. So then all the red wires can go together. Because I don't care if they pull, only one side pulls anything. So I can go red wire to here and to here, cross it over there, there, and there. And then red wire from here feeds this. And if it's less than 8,000, I think that's 16,000 because it's. So if there's less than 16,000 in here, then call a train. That's going to be beautiful.
And the other question is, why have buffers that big? Like, why not just set it to be less than a full load or whatever? What's the advantage to enormous buffers?
Well, I've already decreased them one. So enormous isn't a word I would identify in this design with. If they're oversized, then yeah, I could decrease them, but I chose a number that looked like performance-wise would let me have a fair number of trains. This setup that we have here has 32 trains. I usually run this off of about 12 to 14 trains, and it runs okay. And again, it's designed for 1 or maybe 2 people. It's not designed for 6. It's outside its operating parameters. So you're looking at it in a condition which is the worst of all possible situations for me to be demonstrating what it's doing. If I had more time, tuning this down to say only store 1 row, or as you said, what's a wagon hold, and how can I, if I was to unload a wagon fully on both sides, what's a smaller number? But I mean, these aren't even steel chests because I went through that decision process that you just asked about, which is why so big of a buffer? Now, if all I'm trying to do is get 4 belts out of this, I'm getting a total of 6 red. And I see you're fiddling away on what you're doing with something that decreases the... Yeah, and I could use yellow here and red somewhere else too, but on the other hand, it is a lot easier to have this whole thing just built in red. And the reason I went to all red belt, by the way, was not for performance reasons. It was because this base was designed before you could do force upgrades, right? And I was trying to do it in such a way with these phased layers where you would build this in yellow, and then once you got it going, you would switch it to red. Like this would all have been yellow because it worked fine in yellow belt. But then when you got to here, you had to switch it all to red you had to switch some of it to red. But try and put that into a document of a blueprint and share it with someone else and say, here, upgrade these few belts to red because you're going to need the performance on that.
Well,
or upgrade the whole fucking thing to red.
Or you just have it be a staged blueprint and then you force build over it and let bots take care of it and don't care.
But this was designed before Force Blueprint existed.
Yeah, but I mean, no reason not to tweak it now.
Yeah, I don't have the bandwidth in my life right now. I spent 6 months trying to learn how to speed run instead of upgrading these things, and I'm happy with my choices. So from this, I understand all of what's going on here. So I have one of 2 options here. The most likely option is that I will only pull 4 out of each wagon in order to get 2 belts on each side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so if you're pulling out yellow belts, it's very, very easy because you only need 4 inserters, like 4 blue inserters with stack size 2 to do yellow belt. You can't get 4 red belts out with stack size 2. Like, hold on, if I do...
Well, to me that's fine because it will eventually get the stack size 3 as this base goes online. So it's likely that I will build this in red belt, not because it's the most efficient, but because it's the easiest to build and share a build design with other people. So I get it that it's like in this is not the exact same comparison, but it's a comparison. It's like in some of these mining outposts. These individual belts don't need to be red. They just need to be red at the balancer and where they load the trains, depending on the mining productivity and stuff. But it's a fuck ton easier for me to just design this whole thing in red, carry red belt, because I only got so many slots. The train's only got so many slots. Just carry it all in red belt. The performance losses, the waste of performance is different than the mental capacity of managing an additional set of belts, splitters, and balancers, underbelts. So it's a compromise in that regard of that. Yeah, it's more performance to mix the belt types, but it's a rounding error in a mega base.
Like the performance. It's just What I'm saying is like pulling out um, 2 red belts or 4 yellow belts from a train stop like this is trivial. Pulling out 3 requires all of the inserters, and then it's just going to be bigger and uglier and more complicated. Like there's just not a clean way to do that in a super space efficient manner. But if you're only pulling out 2 belts, then you can skip half of this stuff and just do something as simple as that. And
Yeah,
that'll get
and
you your nice solid belt out.
yeah, and I
Um,
used to have something similar to that, which I'll share that I really like that I've always wanted to go back to, which was I would separate these by this and by this, and I was very happy with this design. I didn't have the something went wrong with it. I think it was when I started running out of the high performance builds didn't like it very much. Um, but I was very happy with this solution.
yeah, I mean that's basically the same thing. It's just you're not using the undergrounds. So,
Right.
being, um,
But what you're suggesting that's different than what I was doing, which is a big game changer for me, is that you're pairing. If I have constant combinators here, I can show this a little bit better. Oops, that's not the button I wanted to press. Thank you. What we're doing here is we're pairing A left and we're pairing B left. And this is what's making this. I'm really happy and really excited about this. Is that what your design is letting me do, and of course I'm going to fiddle with it, but without a combinator interfering with things, I'm going to get this one is going to partner with this one, and this one is going to partner with this one, and then this one partners with that one, and this one partners with that one. So, not there. Here, 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 and here. But what I would have done is I would have put a balancer, here, and that wouldn't be what that is. That is what you're saying. Specifically, avoid doing that. And if I can avoid doing that, then I don't need any way to manipulate these chests because they're all going to unload at a level that I want that keeps the wagons from becoming unevenly
if you want to
unloaded.
do red belts with this, you only need stack size 5. So upgrading those to greens is viable.
Upgrading these inserters to green,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen on this base because green making the green inserters that get made on this base are a late component and they're intended for the next base. I think there's a distinction here that this base is not meant to be high performance. This is not a mega base. This is a base that's made to get me to the next base. It's just that with multiplayer, we end up stagnating on this base and living on it a long time because people get progressed so fast that I don't have time to get the next level base out before the whole map is done. We finish the mission, launch all the rockets, kill all the biters on old tech. And we've done it without high performance or high throughput because, quite simply, it's like we have all these worker bees and we end up not needing high performance elements. I don't have a really good way to express that, but it's when you look at this, you say, man, you could do this a lot better. Well, do it a lot better is subjective when it's an intermediate step. This isn't my end game base. It's just got to be good enough to get me to the next base. And things like this, like what you've suggested, are huge improvements, are going to make a huge difference on how simple it is to build, how understandable it is, and how much I can adjust. This is going to fit in the footprint that I have now. It's much less belt. I can still do some of this other monkeying around with side feeding for local resources, and which I never do anymore. But I'm super happy with this because and like you said, what got us here was my question was, why did you use the number 4? And what you've done here in the past 20 minutes is you've eliminated the question of why why constant 4 on the the Mad Zuri thing. Is you've eliminated the Mad Zuri complication, and I'm fucking thrilled. But I'm not going to be trying to make this the most high performance thing. If it falls a little low on output on these, because this is not putting out enough in order to generate this, well, then like you said, maybe I need to put in another station, and maybe I need to use a more compact version of this so that I can put more stations in. I'm fine with that. You've given me alternatives to different ways to solve this problem in a low SPM or a low updates per minute design. I'm thrilled. This is great.
If you take a look at the right of what's on my screen here,
Yep.
the right is using 6 inserted with a stack size 2, and as you can see, you're just barely not quite able to fill the belt. This is 4 inserters with stack size 3, and it's, again, not quite able to fill the belt.
Right.
If we instead do stack size 4, nope. So it's a full belt, just barely. In fact, if memory serves, it will once in a rare while tick with just like a little bit of material.
Yeah. There's no arguing that upgrading the inserter type to the next capability of the inserters is going to get me better performance. Mm-hmm. But at this base, it's a huge cost, and because of the quantity, and the performance is might not get a return on that, because consider that this base is only supposed to do what am I looking at? I'm only supposed to get 50 science a minute out of this base, and all of the production is designed to run at 10% capacity, because my gameplay style is get this thing running, go out, secure resources, kill biters, come back, stock up, kill biters, build resources, come back, stock up. So all of the furnaces and smelting in this factory, in this base, are designed to run science at 50 science a minute, roughly 45, and production at 10% capacity. And I've got things to tweak for things that are slower and need more of, and things like that. But that's the design goal. Because if I tried to run all this stuff at its maximum that could be done with an assembler 2 and the maximum belt usage, I'd have a massive base and I'd never get any farther forward in the game. I'd spend all my time trying to make this one optimized base when what I really want to do is build arty and blow shit up, or build spiders and blow shit up, or explore the map and blow shit up. So, yeah, you're right. Faster inserters, and maybe, I mean, with your knowledge that you've shared, maybe some of these, or maybe later in the production, I upgrade. If I look at this and say, hey, you know what? Steel is always slow. I'm going to go to the steel unloaders and upgrade those to greens inserters. That's great. I'm totally cool with doing that. But designing this with green inserters means it's never going to get built because I'm never going to have the technology to build these green inserters at the point that I've started building this base. I've got to start it on blue because that's all I got. That's all I can afford. Now, if we can change focus for a moment, I still want to answer this question. If I was to change the design of my fuel loader, and I would end up using this on all of my outpost loaders, so it's an important piece of technology for me to understand. Given that I want to load all of my chests evenly so that my train can move through quickly, and I know we've discussed that maybe that's not the most optimal systemically. If I was going to use a Madzuri type of control mechanism for how the chests get loaded, why the number 4 on the inserter for its enablement?
So, what you're doing with your Matsuri loaders is you're trying to enforce absolute symmetry with your current implementation. The way a Matsuri works is it will lock the inserters unless they're within a certain range of the average.
Yeah. Well put.
You're saying if they're deviating from the average at all, lock them. So that they have, like for your unloader, if they are at the average or below, they cannot move.
Right.
For loading, you would say if they're at the average or above, they can't move. By doing it the way that I have it there, you're allowing a little bit of a fudge factor. So the boxes can be like just a little smidge uneven. And what ends up happening is that results in higher throughput. I can give you an example with like 2 inserters, and you'll see why that's beneficial because but I can explain it and then I'll give you the example. 1 second.
One sec. I gotta step away for 1 sec. I'll be right back. Well, maybe a minute.
Well, then I'll just make the example while you're okay.
Oh, and we haven't technically met, and no, you're still not getting pancakes, waffles, or French toast.
I was going to make French toast this morning. I had to get up at like 3 in the morning to drive a relative to the airport. And then I got home and said, I'm going back to sleep. And that didn't happen. And now it's almost 10 o'clock at night, and I'm debating if I want to have breakfast.
I was having a hard time falling asleep last night. I had this stuck in my head for probably an hour or two.
Okay, I'm back.
I'll go back. I sent you a string of what I'd recommend as like your tentative. Here's how I pull a red belt out of one side.
Oh, this is unloader?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's reasonably compact. I mean, it's 5 tiles wide. Like, if you're using red belts, you could, I guess, maybe make it 4 tiles wide, but it would get a little ugly. And that is fully mirrorable. I got rid of the underground tricks in it, so you can just flip that to be on either side. Do you have editor extensions on that world at all, or I'm guessing
Nope,
not?
I keep it on a
Okay.
separate one. And I've only got about less than 5 minutes before I got to wrap up.
Okay.
So on the loader side, if I wanted to do something, oh god, now I've got a message. All right, I'll get to that in a minute or 5. On the loader side, I understand the fudge factor. So one of the things I don't get is that I don't see how these combinators get an input. I mean, this one's got an input from there. Oh, unless this
Yeah,
is.
their inputs are
Oh, it's
wired
there.
together.
Okay, I didn't see
Yeah.
it. Okay. So they get their input from the chests, and it's dividing by, and it's calling when it's at 4, which is fine. But again, so is this thing going to? So it's not really it's creating an average, but because it's using each, it's putting it to 0 essentially, and then the 4 is like a
Yeah. So internally,
okay.
they'll add the positive and negative signals. So what you're doing is you're telling it how far above or below the average you are currently. Now,
So if I
um,
instead of said 4, I said 10 or
mhm.
50, then I'd see chests that are within 50 of each other, and that's fine.
um, there's a little bit more fuzziness than that.
Okay.
So if you set the average to something high, um, what'll happen is the last chest in the line will be significantly below the average, and then all the other ones will be a bit above it. Because uh, when you get wildly asymmetrical, um, and you have a lot of chests, remember one of them can be like way, 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 way low, and because it's 1 versus like 12 or 40 or some large number, um, if let's say all of the chests are you're setting them to be like within 10, so like the first 30 chests are all about 10 over the average, well the last one could be several hundred below the average. Now if you're storing thousands of items, that doesn't really matter. But um the reason why you don't set it to be, oh, you're uh, at the average or um, below it or whatever, is and you allow it to go a little bit over, is because inserters don't have instantaneous swing speed. So um, the inserters are not measuring the contents that they're currently holding and counting it towards the average of the chest that they're about to put it into. And there's no way to do that without having a separate combinator per inserter that's loading from the belt.
Okay.
Because um, if you think about it, um, each inserter is measuring its own box contents, right? And each inserter is uh, measuring or receiving the negative average. If you tell the inserter to read its own hand contents, because all of the inserters are wired together, then they would each be reading all of each other's hand contents, which means
Yep.
that anytime
Yep.
any of them pick stuff up, they'd all go, oh, I've got extra stuff in my box, which they don't. But because the inserter doesn't swing instantaneously, it can pick up five, like, however many items. It depends on the stack size, but like, let's say you're using like bulk inserters, it might pick up 5, 10 items, and it's holding those. That should count towards the average, and it will count towards the average once it's in the chest. But um, it doesn't count towards the average until it reaches the chest. So while the inserter is hunting and pecking and grabbing items and the actual swing to load it into the chest, it's not counted. And that means that the other inserters, if they're set to be like exactly, oh, you must maintain the exact perfect average, are just going to be waiting until that swing finishes.
All right. I have to go. Thank you.
You a string to play
Michelle,
with
you
later.
might want to log
Yes,
out
sir.
because
Yep,
I'm going to
give me a
pause the
minute.
server and then shut it off. I have
Yep,
to
just
raid
me.
somebody. I have an absolute deadline of 10 because I have a meeting in the morning that I cannot oversleep for, and I will fuck myself if I do that.
Right, just give me 1 minute,
Yep.
actually, and I'll just clear some stuff, and I'll try to send a train back on its way.
Yeah. Thanks again. All that knowledge, you've solved a problem that I've had for a long time, and this is sexy in terms of how compact it is. I'm going to get at least. So this is going to unload 2 belts,
Mhm.
2 full red belts.
And if you want, you can balance the outputs, but you don't need to because each side is independent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to fiddle with that and see. Now, there's no way it's going to do. So why isn't it doing 4 belts?
Because you can't get close to that with that limited number of inserters without upgrading them to greens.
Okay.
If you want to do 4 belts, like let me just copy paste this and verify for sure that this will work. But
So if I do 6 inserters per wagon, I could get the 4 belts, even though it wouldn't be great performance.
oh, let me send you an updated version of that that doesn't have the stack size limitations in place because
All right.
I
But
artificially
I'm going to
limited them.
raid out while we're doing that. Thanks, everybody. I'm off tomorrow and Wednesday. I'll be back Thursday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I know, kitty cat.
Save file, quitting game.
All right, cool. Thanks, everybody.